Good morning. It is time for coffee with Karma. And today I'm going to share some information about how you can bring your memories, specifically your holiday memories, into your writing. Hi, my name is Karma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write a lead attracting book in 90 days or less. Now, regardless of what holiday you are celebrating this month, there's probably some sort of emotion around it. And you probably have memories that have emotions around it. And you can harness this because what's unique about a holiday memory is that it's anchored. And so you're able to remember it a little bit better than other memories. Um, when a memory has a time stamp on it, like holiday, summer, something that was a tradition that you use every year, Thanksgiving, those memories have a stronger emotional resonance, not only for you who's remembering it, but also for when you evoke those emotions in other people because there's a common experience. Not everybody, but a larger group. So the first step is to reflect on these past memories. So as I was thinking about what I might talk about in this particular episode, I started thinking, well, what are my Christmas memories? And one particularly strong one was hunting for a Christmas tree. I totally remember doing it. We also did it with pumpkins. We used to go for pumpkins. But this is a holiday. So what we do, now my little sister was disabled. And I say was because she's passed, but I mean, she lived her entire life being disabled. She's not suddenly cured. That would have been nice, but it didn't happen. Anyway, when she was little and small enough that my dad could carry her, we had like this backpack type contraption that she would sit in, and she would sit on his back in this contraption with her arms like this over his shoulders, and we'd hike up through the little Christmas tree forest looking for the perfect Christmas tree. And it couldn't be too big, and we didn't want it to be too small. It had to be just right. Had to have enough foliage, or I don't know if is that the right word, enough leaves and stuff so that it would hold all our ornaments, and we'd go searching for the perfect tree. And it'd be mom and me and my sister on my dad's back, and we'd be hiking through. And I remember the smells. Oh, I love that Christmas tree smell. And we'd find the tree, and then dad would take Tony off his back and give her to mom, and mom would hold her, or there'd be a stroller. Sometimes we had a stroller with us as well. It was just hard to go through the forest in the stroller, so we didn't put her in the stroller. And he'd take the Christmas tree cutting thing is like this big long stick with a little sawtooth blade at the end, and he'd cut down the tree, and then I think then he put Tony back on, and then we dragged the Christmas tree back to the place where you bought it, and they'd wrap it in that little plastic knitting stuff, and then dad would stuff it in the car, and then Tony would sit on my mom's lap in the front seat, and my dad would be in the driver's seat, and I'd be in the back seat. And this is where the horror began, because invariably there was a spider in that tree, and I'm afraid of spiders. So I'd spend the whole ride home looking for the spider, watching the spider, making sure the spider didn't get any closer. So how do I take that story and bring it into my business? Or I could write a short story that had both joy and fear in it, or I could use it as an analogy for business, because business is filled with wonderful things. I mean, you get to work with great clients, you get to do what you love to do, what you're meant to do, what you're really good at doing, and you make good money, hopefully. But there's going to be things in your business you don't like. So, yeah, the spiders of your business that walk across the ceiling of your car, and you're just like, for me, that's like anything has to do with accounting. I am not a money person, a numbers person. I'm not a numbers person. I find numbers very hard to remember, and so, like, do not talk to me when I'm paying my bills because I need really intense concentration to make sure I don't screw it up. But I could do that. And what kind of memory do you have that you could use as an analogy for something that you do in your business? I'm sure there's a holiday memory in there somewhere that has a lesson in it that you could use in your business, and then you just tell that story during the holidays. And it doesn't only I mean, I'm talking about December holidays right now, but there are holidays throughout the year. I mean, Halloween, I could have talked about going hunting for pumpkins. All those kinds of things. Every holiday has a memory attached to it. So, what can you do with those memories? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is the sensory details. So as I was telling you that story, I was remembering the scent of Christmas trees. And another sensory detail is the flavor of eggnog. Oh, I love eggnog. I love eggnog. Can you use and now you may not be able to use the actual sensory unless you're writing fiction, that's easier. In business, you may not be able to do it, but then again, maybe you can when you're telling your stories. Add to them sensory details, and sometimes remembering sensory details can help you add sensory details to your stories. So, like I talked about the scent of pine and the feeling the feeling the cold seat because it's winter, it's cold back seat of the car while I'm watching Spider, you're not gonna get any closer. Dad, there's a spider. Dad, the spider's getting close to me. And the sensory feeling of fear. But also, there's joy. There's joy. You can evoke joy. But when you add those sensory details of what did you see? What did you feel? What did you smell? What did you taste? When you add those sensory details into your stories, they make them more powerful because they help people experience it with you, but they also these stories with their emotional and sensory details help humanize you. You get to know the person who's telling the story just a little bit. So that's tip number 2. And tip number 3 is you can always lean on the annual reflection and new beginnings themes because that's December's the end of the year. People are starting to reflect on the past and they're starting to plan for the future. I know I am. I mean, when I think about December, when I started 2023, I had really high hopes for where I'd be right now. I'm not there. It didn't happen, but I'm closer. I'm closer now in December than I was in January because all the experiences that didn't quite pan out the way I had hoped helped me become very clear. So coming into the new year, I am very clear on who it is I serve and how I serve them. And that's how I came up with that whole I help entrepreneurs write lead generating books in 90 days or less. It's a very simple message. It's easy to say. And everything I can offer in the new year can be leading to that end result. Your book launched out in the world in 90 days or less. And I say or less because some people can do it in less. I've done it in less. I'm going to be doing it in less every month because I'm dropping a book every month. But I give the 90-day container so that people don't feel overwhelmed. Because especially if you're a newer author, getting a book done in 30 days is very overwhelming, and no matter how many times anyone promises to have your book written, done in a weekend, They aren't including all the pre-work that led up to that weekend, nor the post-work that happens. My 90 days includes all of that. So, just say. So you reflect on the past and then you and what I've just been doing, I've been reflecting on the past. This is what I had planned to do, didn't quite happen, but it helped me get to the point where I can plan for the future. You can talk about those things too. And you can talk about how the holidays fit into that. So those are the 3 things you can do. Remember your holiday memories, evoke sensory details, and reflect on the past while looking forward to the future. This is the end of today's Coffee with Karma. If you are ready to write your lead attracting book, write quick start in the comments around this video, and I will send you a link to my quick start guide for writing an authority building short book. It helps you understand your authority building style, the right book that would help that basically aligns with that authority building style, and then my 3-part MSV framework that helps you come up with your best idea for a lead generating book in as little as 15 minutes. It could take you longer, but that's generally, if I'm there with you, it can take 15 minutes. So it's a really powerful framework, and you can get it for free if you just put quick start in the comments around this video. Ciao for now.